The 2025 Spring Reading Guide is here, and this year's guide has 27 books organized across 8 categories. But today, I'm super excited to talk about the Minimalist Reading List. Now, this is a special selection within the guide, especially if 27 books sounds incredibly overwhelming to you. So what I've done with the Minimalist Reads list is select one standout book from each category for your reading pleasure. So essentially, these books are the best of the best. And I'll be sharing 4 books from the list of 8 that you can expect in the guide. Now, if you just want to skip everything and see all the books that made the list in the guide, then go to springreadingguide.com to download your copy of the guide. It will take you to my Substack where the guide is hosted exclusively, or you can just sign up on Substack using the link in the video's description. But let's get into 4 of the books that made the Minimalist Reading List this spring. The first book is my Family and Friendship selection, and it's entitled We Pretty Pieces of Flesh by Colwell Brown. Now, this book is available on March 4th, and this novel really explores the complexities of friendship through the lives of 3 childhood friends from Yorkshire. Now, these 3 friends are reunited years later, and when they are reunited, we see it forcing them to confront some truths, some old betrayals, and of course, long buried secrets. Now, I love the setting because their childhood was set in the 90s, which is my era, and we see them getting back together in around 2017 thereabouts. So it's really a raw, but also moving, but brilliantly written story that I actually appreciated the author infused with vivid Yorkshire dialect. So we get to see the messy and complicated nature of female friendships. And if you're someone who loves narratives that explore friendship, loyalty, betrayal, the scars of growing up, then I think this book is just for you. My science fiction and fantasy selection is Once Was Wilhelm by M.R. Carey. Now, this book is available on March 4th. And for the setting, I want you to think about a couple who is grieving. Unfortunately, they've lost their son. And then we see them making this very desperate deal with a sorcerer to resurrect said son. But guess what? Their son Wilhelm, when they get him back, is not the same like he was before. Wilhelm is different and also not entirely human. So of course, people around them, they're looking at them sideways, they're a bit afraid. And we see him being cast out by the village because rightfully so, they're fearful. So we see him forging this new life and this new existence deep in the woods. We see him encountering other outcasts, while we also have a sorcerer who is plotting to unleash something dangerous. So this book is dark, but it's gripping and it's layered, right? So you can expect lots of themes of belonging, the forever battle of good versus evil, or main character confronting prejudice as well. And I think it's just perfect for readers who love like high stakes adventure with a fantasy, but also getting that emotional depth. And it really also explores like, what does it mean to be human? And what happens when we start playing with the natural order of things, AKA you're dying and someone bringing you back. So it's a very thought-provoking read and yeah, just lots of fun. Now, moving on to my mystery and thriller selection, we have All the Mothers Hate Me by Sarah Harmon. Now, this book is set to be available on March 11th. And this is a very fun but also suspenseful debut. And we have a former pop star who is now a mom. We see her really struggling. And then we see her finding herself at the center of a chilling case when a school trip goes horribly wrong. Because what happens is we see a missing child's backpack and notebook that is just filled with lots of, things that really turn her world upside down. I'm really trying hard not to spoil it, okay? And then we see her just taking on the role of unlikely detective, But then, plot twist, suspicion falls on her own son. So we see the lines of like truth and lies and deception and all these things really starting to blur. But I have to tell you, in addition to the mystery and the suspense and just the thrilling elements, we also get a satire because this is just very funny, but we also get emotional depth too. It's also a whole conversation. And because of the satire, you can expect like that social commentary element on motherhood, class, and social hierarchies, especially because she's an American living in London, all at the same time keeping you on the edge of your seat as a mystery would. So if you're a fan of like those mystery novels where you get heart and humor, but you're also on the edge of your seat with the suspense, I think this one is for you. And then book 4 is the romance selection, and I'm recommending My Big Fat Fake Marriage by Charlotte Stein. Now, this one is expected March 11th, and in this rom-com, we have our main character who has kind of just experienced enough of the overly nice guys, so the really too nice guys that always come with these hidden agendas. So she finds herself in like this unexpected situation when her charming neighbor next door confesses that he lied about being married. So our main character agrees to a fake marriage to kind of help him keep up appearances when he goes on his work retreat. So what starts as something convenient and trying to help your neighbor turns into something much deeper. And we see both of them kind of realizing that, there's a little attraction thing going on between them and that maybe these feelings are real after all. So this is a fun, lighthearted read full of humor. There's some forced proximity as well. We get a cinnamon roll hero vibe. So if you're into that, I'm into that, then this is the book for you. And honestly, it fits with spring too, because there's also the possibility that, love might be waiting around the corner. All right. So those are 4 books out of 8 from the minimalist reading list in the guide. Now, the guide also has 4 additional categories. We have literary fiction, dystopian fiction, historical fiction, and cozy mysteries. And each category has even more books. So be sure to get your hands on a copy of the guide. Go to springreadingguide.com or just head on over to Substack and get the reading guide there. Now, I'm really excited to hear about the books that you're looking forward to reading this spring. So let's continue the conversation in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. If you've read any of these books, planning to add them to your TBR, or again, just sharing what are the books on your reading list. Let's continue the conversation in the comments. And until next time, happy reading, everyone. Talk to you soon.